Hi, my name is Mike the Fish, and this is a stone cannon and Dragonhunter build. I made the stone cannons because I wanted something that hit as hard as a glass cannon, but also was like a little bit more survivable for some of the new stuff in Heart of Thorns. And this build does exactly that. You can see we've got a 20k health pool, and we hit very nearly as hard as a full damage Guardian. Right, firstly onto the weapons and the utility skills. We're using a short bow because it's just cool, and a great sword. This is very interchangeable, the great sword. You can use hammer, you can use sword and shield, or sword and focus, or sword and honestly, you can pick up whatever melee combination you like, whatever feels good for you. There are different traits that work for each one. I'll get into that later. So for the heal skill, I've gone with Signet of Resolve. This thing is very, very good. Everybody under the sun seems to use Shelter. 4.5k heal, 30 seconds. So yeah, okay, it gives you 2 seconds of invulnerability, and that's nice. And there are certain traits that synergize with blocking, but this does a lot for you. This removes conditions like passively as you're just playing around. It also has 8,000 heal. So I look at this and I think, well, that's 40-second cooldown. This is a 30-second cooldown. Essentially, the heal should be 3/4 of the heal on this, but it's not. It's you know, you can clearly see the difference in the heal numbers there. I really like this signet for filling up your health bar. It does a lot, and with the combined with a couple of traits, it keeps conditions off you pretty much permanently as well. So I always like to have a break stun on my bar. This is stand your ground. It puts stability on you as well, so when you break stun, you can't get re-stunned instantly. Procession of Blades, very nice trap. Gives you access to more fury. A lot of damage on this. And Signet of Judgment. This is a very, very strong utility skill. Minus 10% incoming damage. This is massive. You shouldn't really use this for the break stun because you want to keep this up as much as possible. Minus 10% incoming damage, 10%. It's enormous survivability on just one utility skill. If you don't need this, you can swap it out for improved power. That gives you just a little bit more damage, and also the 3-second knockdown is really good for break bars. So that's a very interesting swap out. But this 10% minus damage, I mean, this is how you can become a stone cannon rather than a glass cannon. That's a big part of it. And then for the elite, I've gone with Feel My Wrath. This just adds quickness, 5 seconds of quickness to your whole team, 10 seconds of fury every 45 seconds. This is a very good elite. So yeah, that's the skills. So for the gear, I've gone for a Berserker Greatsword, a Berserker Longbow, a Berserker Amulet, Berserker Backpiece. But then for everything else, I've essentially gone Marauders, the sort of version of Marauders you can get on rings and accessories here. Give you a little bit of, and then on the gear, full Marauders with the Rune of the Worm. So you can start to see a little bit of the synergy here. We're adding a lot of vitality, and we're converting it via the 6 bonus there. 7% of vitality is converted to ferocity. I really, really like the Rune of the Worm. I think it's one of the most underrated rune sets in the game. It adds a lot of survivability while still adding a lot of damage as well. And the Marauders really plays into that well, and also some of the traits later on, which I'll go into as well. Sigils, I've gone for force and accuracy. I just like having permanent bonuses. I don't like, unless there's direct synergy with your build, I don't like having temporary things on sigils, like Sigil of the Night or stuff like that. I don't like running that. So that's the gear. One thing I realised I forgot to mention is the bonus you get from taking Marauders over Berserker's gear. So in general, Marauders is a little bit less damage, but you end up with more stats. And how does this happen, you might ask? Well, you end up with, when you have 4 stat sets as opposed to 3, the gear simply has more stats on it. So we've got 121 power, 121 precision, 67 vitality, and 67 ferocity. I've had a guildie of mine spam a berserker top, so you can sort of compare the stats. 141 power, 101 precision. So the power and precision is just swapping a little bit extra into precision, which is really good for this build because it gets our crit chance up to a nice level. And then you can see, quite obviously, 101 ferocity, and you've got 67 vitality and 67 ferocity. So that's 134 stats in total versus 101 stats. And yeah, the damage is lower, but over the course of the whole thing, and combined with Rune of the Worm, it lowers the importance of the switch from damage to survivability. So you get a lot of extra survivability for not a lot of DPS loss, and that's the point of the stone cannons. Onto the traits. We're running with the Great Sword. We're running Zeal, Honor, and Dragonhunter. So for Zeal, you got all your damage traits: increase damage against burning foes, attacks with the Great Sword 5% damage, and you deal more damage to enemies standing in your symbols. You know, that's 5, 7, 10% damage. This is very good for Great Sword. Honor. This is where the stone cannon section comes into it. So, activate a shield of absorption when you begin reviving an ally. This is nice. Doesn't really synergize with anything, but you have to pick something here, and these two are a bit bad. So, you and all nearby allies gain might when you land a critical hit. Giving yourself might, giving yourself whenever you crit, you're going to be critting a lot, so that's very good. And here we go. This is the synergy that you get from running this. You have increased vitality, so 300 extra vitality, which in turn, because of the Rune of the Worm, is translated into ferocity. So all of the Marauder stats, all of the plus 300 is converted into ferocity, and that's how you get your damage up to a very nice place while having a very nice health bar. Also, and this is really not to be underestimated, 18% outgoing heal effectiveness. So a little bit of maths that I did before the video. This thing, you leap to an area, healing allies in the area for 3,890. This gets buffed up to 4,500 with this trait. To put that into some perspective, this heal is 4,500 heal. This is essentially a free full heal skill for your team with this trait. And that's forgetting any other outgoing healing you might be doing. And in raids, I've been experimenting a bit with taking this as well, and with very nice effect with this trait. But yeah, that's enormous. Every 30 seconds, you have a free heal for your team if you want it. Very nice secondary part of this trait that people don't often pay attention to. So Dragonhunter traits, we've got enemies you knock back are crippled. I like this because it means when you cripple things you give them vulnerability, but this does increase your DPS, and a lot of the time I do actually run this. It's very good for break bars as well, because it means your trap has days and the recharge is down on the trap. Then onto deal extra damage to crippled enemies. This is 10% damage increase most of the time, because hopefully you'll be getting crippled on things a lot. And then the Grandmaster trait, I run Big Game Hunter. So you throw your spear at something, and everything, if you throw this at a boss, while it's in the boss, you've got 10% damage increase, and you're stacking vuln on it. This can be swapped out, particularly if you have a break bar that you absolutely need to do very quickly. Then you use this, you walk up to point blank range, and you just auto attack. preferably with Field Marathon. That way you knock back, knock back, knock back, knock back, and you break through a break bar very, very quickly. This, another very nice damage reduction trait. So if you need more tanking, not a break bar or damage, you take this trait. So these three are all very good for different situations. Remove conditions when blocking attacks. A lot of condition removal on this build. There's a lot of condition removal. Plus, this is passively removing a condition every now and again. Whenever you block, you remove a condition. You won't generally have a lot of conditions on you, and so you take 10% less damage. So this is a 20% damage reduction before all is said and done. If you want a more tankier Guardian, you can take this. But as I said, most of the time you'll be wanting to take this to maximise your damage and put a lot of vulnerability on the enemies. So that's the traits. So we've come to Verdant Brink to test this. Can't really test it on a training dummy because the nice balance of Berserkers and Marauders you can't really get in PvP. So we're going to kill some things here. You can see we're getting very nice damage out. We're taking 6k health damage, but this thing does a very nice heal. Missed that thing because it immediately stealthed. Kill that. I don't know where this is, so I'm going to put it towards me. Let's find some more quickly so we can show off. Alright, we've got a veteran here, that's a nice group. Heal ourselves up nicely. Getting pummeled by something over there, but so you can see we're doing very nice damage. We've got reasonable survivability, and a huge health pool. I mean, a health pool is you can see how that increases the survivability. If this was an 11k Guardian, we'd have died there, but we didn't get anywhere near just then. We can we've got very nice damage and very nice survivability. So that's the point of the stone cannons. I'm just going to make an honourable mention to this consumable here. This, again, as you can see, is very good for this build. It adds you another 100 vitality and gives you more ferocity based on your vitality. So this very, very nice food that ups your damage considerably and even further closes the gap between the damage that a full Guardian can do and a damage that this stone cannon Guardian can do. So yeah, that's that consumable. So that's the stone cannon Dragonhunter build. Very survivable, does a ton of damage. Tell a friend.